Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here with you on Wednesday, the 25th. No, is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
No, it's Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday, the 25th of April, 2023. I'm here with Psychic Medium, remote viewer, Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so Tucker Carlson is the subject of this one. Somebody on the Discord has kindly provided a huge amount of questions. So I shall be wading my way through and trying to do as many of those as I can. So can you get a connection with Tucker, please?
I can. And I tell you what, it doesn't feel good.
No?
No, it really doesn't. He feels like a failure. He feels like he was, I just can feel it vibrationally. It feels very low. And it's also like, where do I go from here?
Well, he's got such a strong media presence. I would have thought he could do his own thing. He could do a Joe Rogan type podcast. I don't know. I mean, he's a smart guy. He's he doesn't have to work for a big network again, particularly. He could do something for himself. Be his own editorial content advisor.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. What would you like to know?
Oh, well, I'm going to read these questions that this person has provided. So, okay, was it an amicable parting between him and Fox?
Was it amicable, the parting between you and Fox? No, not at all.
Did AOC, and I'm assuming that means Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, have any influence over the decision?
Ooh, did AOC have any influence over the decision of the party? No, I won't tell you what he just said about her. I'll leave the swear words out.
Yeah, well.
Maybe the pressure was on him. Maybe the heat was on him.
Oh, really?
I feel like, yes, I this is what I feel. I feel like it was, coming down to the wire.
Right.
He's saying to me, right, his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions is what he's wanting to talk about this. He's saying, I turned that news network around when it was at its lowest point.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
And he says, I will not be treated like this. So, what else would you like to know?
Okay, I'm just going to read down the questions. So, has AOC and Tucker had past lives together?
Ooh, have AOC and Tucker had past lives together? No, this is a completely new lifetime for them to be connected in. Yeah, this is a new lifetime.
Okay. Did Ray Epps have any influence over the decision?
Did Ray Epps have any influence over the decision? Yes. Who's Ray Epps?
I have no idea. I'm just reading from the list of questions. I don't know who. I know who Tucker Carlson is, but I don't know who Ray Epps is. So, all right. Did Ray and Tucker have any past lives together?
Did Ray and Tucker have any past lives together? No.
So was it a planned parting or literally a last-minute decision?
Was it a planned party? I feel like he had been wanting to leave for a while, right? It was becoming drudgery. Yeah. It was spouting the same old is what he's telling me. These aren't my words. These are his words. He says, it was becoming impossible for me to do my job with the amount of censorship that was going on. We had to constantly be careful what we said, what we did, who we offended. And he says, that's not the world I want to operate in. That's not a fair world, is what he's telling me.
Does he believe that Fox was looking for a reason to fire him?
Do you believe Fox was looking for a reason to fire
Not
you?
fire him, move him out, constructive dismissal where he gets rid of himself, that type of anything, just to get him off. In other words, get him off the air.
To get you off here. Yes, he was being pushed out.
So is Tucker now a little upset, a lot upset, stressed, devastated, relieved? How does he feel?
How do you feel right now? He feels quite depressed. He says, I wish I would have had a better plan in place. I just never had time to make plans.
Well,
but he does. He's already had offers.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's, Okay. Did Fox make it difficult for him to report as honestly as he wanted to? I think you've answered that one already, but
Fox make it difficult for you to report as honestly as you want to. He said, I had to bite my tongue. I wasn't allowed to share opinions. And he says, that's what I was employed for. I was employed for opinion and commentator, that's what his role was in the beginning. But he's saying over time, it just got to the point where you can't say anything. You're not allowed to have any opinion. You're only allowed to report the facts. Yeah. And I'm saying, why does that bother you that there was such a change there? And he said, well, it was cumbersome. I want to be able to educate. I want to be able to offer an opinion. I feel that I am intelligent. These are his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinion. Don't sit here writing hate mail to Liz. Liz doesn't even watch him. Okay, Liz does not. But he's saying to me, he felt like his ability to educate people was being stripped.
Will he find employment right away, or is he planning on taking some time off? Or is he going to
right away? Yes, he will find employment right away. Are you going to take any time? Yeah, he's going to take off a couple weeks. Let me ask this question. I have to ask it. I'm sorry. Have you ever thought about replacing Rush Limbaugh? No, he hasn't. Since the death of Rush Limbaugh, that sort of area on the radio has really died as a death as well. And that's why I thought, I wonder if he'd go, how you said Joe Rogan, if maybe he was going to take a role like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, or Art Bell, somebody like that. Yeah.
What about Art Bell? No. But he do you have any interest in radio? Yes, he does have interest in radio. Have you ever thought about being on the radio taking Rush Limbaugh's place? He says, no, that's impossible. It's a lot of hard work. It's thinking on your feet for several hours a day. He doesn't believe in himself that he is up to the job.
Okay, will he stay in the news business?
Oh, that's a good question. Will you stay in the? Yes, he will stay in the news. He prefers to call it what's coming through. He prefers to call it the education, right? He keeps saying that. I educate. I'm an educator. People need to know what's going on.
Not many people in mainstream educate. It's more like propaganda and brainwash. So he's got to be one of a very few then, because oh dear, don't get me going down that road.
No, but these are his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, not ours, right? I may have watched him, occasionally back in the day when he first came on. But other than that, I don't have Fox News, right? I don't have Fox News, nor do I have CNN. I don't have any of that stuff here. You know what I watch? I watch British news. I don't actually even watch American news at all. And on the occasion I have time, I watch either Sky or BBC.
Okay. Will you go into politics?
Will you go into politics? Ooh, that's a good question. Are you considering a run? He's considering a run.
Is he being considered by any of the Republican presidential candidates for VP, vice president.
Are you being considered by any of the Republican candidates as vice president? No. And he says, if I'm going to be in that sphere, I'm going to be president. That was a good question.
Would he consider being a vice president to the official Republican nominee?
Would you consider being a vice president to the official Republican nominee? No, he says, I control my show.
Will he start his own podcast type show, or will he go with a more established news network?
Will you start your own podcast type show? He's working on it already. He's working on ironing out the wrinkles of a possible podcast. He believes that he would have a lot more freedom in podcasting. He's all about, according to him, and I know people will disagree because, people are firmly implanted on whichever side of the aisle they want to be on. Even though I'm telling people I don't watch, Fox News, there'll be, reports down on the comments in the YouTube saying, oh, she's a Republican, she's this, she's that. I understand that how people get so entrenched in these solid lines. Okay. He is saying that he needs to have freedom to express his opinions. And so where he's going, it's not so much about the money for him. It's about being able to speak to the public. Do you believe that most of your followers will come? Yeah, he believes that his followers are going to go wherever he goes. And he believes Fox News has just made a terrible mistake. They had already basically said I'd cost them tons of money. I'd put the company in the hole. So, he said, which is an unrealistic thought process. Do you believe that they should have fought sorry, I'm hijacking this, Mr. Shakespeare. Do you believe that they should have fought the court case? Yes, he says wholeheartedly. He says he believes that they should have fought the court case. And I'm asking why. And he says, so the truth would come out about those machines. But he said they bowed under pressure. They weren't willing to take the bad press on the side of Fox News. So it was easier to settle out of court.
Will this be ultimately the worst thing that happens to Fox?
We can probe Fox News. Let's probe them. I'm going to grab them. How do you feel about Tucker Carlson leaving? They're happy about it. Okay. Put
them out a couple of years, and are they still happy, or is it the worst thing that happened?
Very, very smart, Mr. Shakespeare. All right, let's go out a couple of years. So let's go. What date are we at today? I don't even know.
25th of April.
25th already. April 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Have you been able to replace Tucker Carlson? Yes. Is the person that you have replaced Tucker Carlson with as good as Tucker Carlson? Nowhere close. Now, what is coming through? You guys are going to say, yes, she does watch Fox News. And is that Greg Gutfeld or whatever his name is? I feel like he is running behind Tucker Carlson. So, and the reason I know about him is because when I lived in the UK, there used to be a program on in the States called Red Eye years and years ago. And of course, because the UK is 6 hours ahead, what was a middle of the night programming for Red Eye, we got at 7 o'clock in the morning in the UK. So I could actually stay on top of what was going on in the States by watching this program Red Eye, because it had a big mix of people like right wing, left wing, moderates, and all that. It was a good show. I feel like Greg Gutfeld, or Fieldfeld, whatever his name is going to come in behind Tucker Carlson. I'm not saying he may take that primetime slot, but certainly they're now going to boost him more. They're going to push him more.
Well, interesting. So,
Was it the worst decision you ever made by letting Tucker Carlson go? No, they're saying that's the best decision. They're thinking in terms of financial and financial only.
Of course, yeah.
We cannot take any more disruptions to our finances because of his misinformation. So there is not a parting on good terms here at all. And he's saying, I worked so hard. I built Fox News from the ground.
Right. Okay. So will this ultimately be the best thing that could have happened to Tucker? So we're going to have to put Tucker out a couple of years.
All right. Let's grab Tucker and let's go April 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Is this leaving Fox News? Is that the best thing that ever happened to you? No, it isn't. It's one of the worst things that's ever happened to him. Why do you say that? Because I feel like wherever he goes, he's struggling. He doesn't have that prime time coverage, right? He doesn't have, that slot, as in, I feel, with podcasts, right? You can listen to them whenever you want to, or with wherever modality he's heading into, you can, you don't have to stick with the prime time. Okay. And so it's more flexible. It's not like hard hitting, putting that message out there, knowing that every old man in the country is listening. That was a joke, by the way. Sorry. Don't write me hate mail. That was a joke. People, ha ha. But and it came from him. That every person in the country is watching you at that moment, so everybody's receiving the information at the same time. Wherever he's headed, it's more flexible. He's very much into the collective, okay? And he just said to me, I'm into raising consciousness and awareness, and he believes that by hitting everybody at the same time, that he's actually quite spiritual. I'm surprised by this. He's saying it hits everybody at the same time, and he believes, in his own personal thought, feeling, and opinion, that it raises some sort of awareness and vibration and frequency. He's actually quite spiritual. I swear to God, I'm very surprised by that.
Right. Okay. Will Tucker eventually honestly tell? No, actually, let's rephrase this. You got him still out 2 years.
Yeah.
Has he in the last 2 years honestly told his side of the story for public consumption?
In the last 2 years, honestly told his side of the story. I feel like he's, dripped a little bit of the story in. This is something that everybody wants to know, but he's saying I could never divulge everything.
Is that because he's under an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement?
Is that because you're under? Yes, he can't talk about a lot of things.
Oh, well, there you go.
But he will, he'll leak a little, you know what I mean? Like he'll give a little bit here and a little bit there. He is being offered a lot of money to do official interviews, but he just kind of wants to, as I put him in today's information, he doesn't want to go down that road because he's saying, if I start spouting about what happened, then that could bring the viewership down. And he says, and I still think that this is the only outlet, according to him, the only outlet that, the right side of the aisle, the political aisle has. And he still thinks that it's important to have people tune in. Right. So he doesn't.
You can't just have one side of any discussion. Did him leaving have any effect on any of the other hosts at Fox, or don't they care?
Did you leave?
Or did they not care?
Yeah, it does have a lot of effect. He says, but it's really the ones that left before him that are reaching out saying, yes, there is life after Fox. And he is listening to the horror stories about how they left and how they were possibly pushed out, or how they thought that they were getting a better deal somewhere else and they made a mistake. Could you have possibly stayed? No, he couldn't have possibly stayed. No.
Did his recent move to Florida have anything to do with the parting from Fox? And does he still live in Florida now?
I didn't even know he lived down there.
Did
your recent move to Florida have anything to do with it? No, it complicated things, but no, on the grand scale, whatever. No, it was irrelevant. Are you still living down there? Yes, he likes DeSantis.
So why did he move to Florida then?
So why did you move to Florida? A better life. He says you have more freedom down there. Where was he living before? I guess where?
I don't know. Ask him. I have no idea.
I feel like he was more in a colder climate. So he's saying to me, I like being down here. I have freedom. He's saying to me, there's more security. So he roams around in very small circles and gated communities, and he's saying it's just a lot more secure. Have you had death threats? He's like, oh yeah, I've had loads of death threats. That doesn't faze me anymore. But his family security, it's important to him.
Okay. So have you still got him out? Actually, bring him back to now, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last week he had a segment on his show, apparently, about the corruption of mainstream media. Was this a factor to his leaving?
Last week he did a segment on the show about the corruption in the mainstream media. Was this a factor? Yes.
Was this just him signaling that, he's on his way out, he's gonna, this is what he was gonna do, sort of thing?
Signaling that you were on your way out? No, but it was almost like a warning that you will not make me your scapegoat, right?
Right.
When he was posting that information about the machines, and we can't go into great detail about that because then this will get pulled down, right? The machines, when he was doing that, they encouraged it, right? Because of course, putting something like that out there, the viewership became really big. It grabbed a lot of people's attention. They got a lot of loyal viewers because of that. At no time was he advised. Were you advised? No. I don't feel like he was advised to not talk about it. He's saying they encouraged it. They encouraged the storming of Congress coverage and that side of the story. And he believes in his own personal thought, feeling, and opinion. I have to keep saying that because people will say, Liz, you're just making this up because this is different from what I think. But I have to keep saying that because a lot of people out there don't realize, and they're new to mind probes, right? They don't understand how they work. But he's saying, you know, at no time did they tell him to, you know, quiet down. It wasn't an issue. Now they're making him a scapegoat, is what he's saying. Like somebody's got to take the fall for the lawsuit. And, you know, it may as well be me.
Right. Okay. Put him back out 2 years a minute, please.
Okay, so April 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What would you like to know?
Did the presidential election, did the elections happen at the end in 2024, November 2024?
Elections happen in November 2024. Yes. I know what your next question is. I must be psychic.
Do you? Okay.
Yes, I do. Are you happy? Are you happy with who won? No, he isn't.
No, I wasn't going to ask that actually.
Oh.
I'm not going to ask that. What I was going to ask was something slightly different. Were you surprised at who won or not?
Oh, sorry. Were you surprised at who won? No. He said the American belief system, the American people have been sold down the river.
So now he's not happy.
Sorry. No. Are you happy with this decision? No, but it gives him a lot of material. So, you know, on the one hand, you may not agree with the candidate, but you see how he thinks. He's saying, but there's a lot more material if you disagree. And I just, you know, want to reiterate a couple of things. For those of you that have listened to the end, you need to like and subscribe to this channel. And not only that, you need to like and subscribe to the backup channel. Look at the first comment pinned by me. You will find all information there about the backup channel. It's very important. As censorship is becoming more and more and more, right? This channel could get pulled down. And if we end up on the backup channel or channels, right, you won't know where to find us. So hopefully you find value in this information. I think from the comments, a lot of people do. And then from the emails that I get, I just appreciate you all so much. And I know Mr. Shakespeare does as well. But guys, you've got to make sure you're subscribed to those backups. Okay? Seriously. The world does not like psychics. And that's what we all have to keep in mind. All right, Mr. Shakespeare, thank you very much.